Yo, what's up, Bonehog? Shujinkydink here. Welcome to a video all about Mortal Kombat. 5 things maybe you did or didn't know. Mortal Kombat has been in my life pretty much since I was 7 years old. When playing the first Mortal Kombat, where I'd line up and put my quarters up to watch the older kids do the fatalities on me because they know how to do them and I didn't. But yeah, there's a few things that happened over the years that you may or may not know about, so I thought I would list them because people like list videos. Anyways, if you enjoy this kind of content, anything Mortal Kombat really, consider subscribing. Let's get started with number 5.
Accept your death.
Number 5 is the toasty boost in Mortal Kombat 9. This was something that wasn't discovered until almost 2 years into the game's life. Competitively, it really changed the game a lot. So basically, you would get the toasty, which is Dan Forden, showing up in the bottom of the screen, and then you do a certain input, which varied depending on the character, and then you would get full meter back. And yeah, this was a bit of a game changer, and like I said, wasn't really discovered for about 2 years into the game's life. So it was a pretty big thing, and really showed how much NRS actually puts into like these kind of secretive things. And Ed Boon has talked about that before, about how he likes all these secrets in the game, you know. To this day, NRS employees still say there are things in MK9 that we still haven't found out, so get out there and see what you can find. Number 4 is secrets were kept even from staff. Most people know about the secret reptile fight in Mortal Kombat 1, sorry about the poor footage here, but rumors have it that even Ed Boon himself would program things into the game without the rest of the staff knowing. For example, when they were doing motion capture for Reptile, the actor playing Reptile didn't even know. Check out this interview. It appeared on the Mortal Kombat Deception bonus disc.
It was another one of those characters where they swap some of the images from one character to another. I saw those moves that they told me to do that were for other characters, like for example the force ball, you know, when I put my hands out and then a big ball comes rolling out. That was for Reptile, but here I had no clue at that time.
Reptile wins. Fatality.
Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe was the very first Mortal Kombat game planned to ever have DLC. Unfortunately, things wouldn't go well for Midway and it wasn't going to happen, but it was planned that Quan Chi and Harley Quinn were rumored to be DLC characters in this game before Midway went under and went into bankruptcy. How would they have played? Hard to say. How would they have fit into the story? Hard to say. Harley Quinn doesn't even show up in the story at all. Quan Chi, they had a character model, they had movements, they had motion capture, they had all that kind of thing. There was absolutely nothing for Harley Quinn other than one screenshot that kind of went online that was really not confirmed by anybody. But this is a weird time for NRS, and we will get into this eventually. But yeah, it's just a rumor, a cool one, and a part of history. You know, I lived through this and I saw all the content about it, so whether you believe it or not is up to you. Number 2 was the Mortal Kombat Armageddon air cancel combos. These were basically an infinite. In the community at the time, there was a rule that you could only do 2 in a row, and that was as much as you could do. But I mean, online is online, and this is one of the first games that really played online, and with the netcode being so bad, you always ran into somebody that was just doing infinite over and over and over again. Any character could do it. It didn't really matter who you were. You could do more combo damage into it depending on the character, but it really did ruin the game for a lot of people who were just trying to play online for their first time playing a fighting game, and someone goes up and just does these air combo infinites, because you can just look at this, cancel it, jump back up, cancel it, jump back up, cancel it. This noob just decided to, noob as in the character, not the player, decided to stop doing it. But yeah, you could go up, cancel it, you could go back up into the air and do it again, but it just ruined a lot of gameplay for a lot of people. And if you weren't part of the Mortal Kombat community, it was really frustrating to play this game. And the number one thing you probably didn't know about Mortal Kombat is that Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe saved the franchise. This is a weird statement for me to make because this is probably the worst game I've ever played, if I'm being honest. So much broke shit, a couple infinites. But what happened here was Midway was going through their bankruptcy process, and they were trying to find someone to buy out the Mortal Kombat franchise. So they went to DC Warner Brothers and said, hey, do you want to do a crossover and we'll see how it does, and maybe you want to buy the franchise? And Warner Brothers said, yeah, sure, we'll do it. And they didn't put much money into it, obviously. If you ever played the game, it's actually a pretty big disaster. But to see Scorpion and Batman fight it out is kind of cool, especially as a Mortal Kombat fan. But after this, unfortunately, this didn't save Midway. Midway went under, and Mortal Kombat came up for auction, which basically meant if no one bid on them, Mortal Kombat would be up. You could have an EA game, Mortal Kombat, where you have to pay for fatalities, Fortunately, WB bid and won on Midway because they were the only ones that said, hey, let's buy them. And they turned into NRS Studios and funded them, and we have amazing games now like Mortal Kombat 9, MKX, Injustice 2, Mortal Kombat 11. So it actually worked out really well for everybody in the end, because if WB just said, nah, we're going to pass, and just gave it to whoever, someone could have picked up Mortal Kombat for $10, whatever they want to pay, and made a really, really bad game and pretty much killed the series. So this was the game that really saved Mortal Kombat, and I think that's something a lot of people don't know about. Sorry, off-brand. No boot. And, as bad as this game is, it's a really important part of Mortal Kombat history, and I hope that now that everyone knows this, that you will give this game a chance. You ever see it for free? You ever go to your GameStop and you're like, hey, MK versus DC, I know that game. That's an important game. I'll buy it for $4. Sure. It's fun. It's crappy. I don't know. It was an important part of Mortal Kombat. Probably the most important game in Mortal Kombat history, because it's what saved our franchise. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, because it really helps me out. And subscribe if you haven't, because I make new Mortal Kombat content all the time. Hashtag Bonehawks, all that stuff. And we'll see all you guys in the next video.
Accept your death.